Welcome back to this healing space. So, today I want to continue talking to you about change. So, there are really very many aspects and many facets that we can talk about change. So, I've spoken about change in the previous video. You can check it out if you want. And there I shared about why is it so hard to change, even if we know that it is very important and might be what is the right thing to do, but it's just so hard. So today I also want to share another aspect of why change is hard and how also society and the outside world has influenced us, why it is very hard to change. And of course, all of our learning really starts with looking right outside. And as kids, as a child, as we were growing up, we were just really like an empty, right? Like an empty glass, an empty jar that is waiting to be filled, like an empty container. And so when whatever we have seen in the outside world, that is what we are trying to absorb, that is also what we will do, because that is what we see. And so then life will try to allow us to experience many things, so that whatever we learn as we were growing up, which is not really of the highest level of truth, then we can start to correct it. But the thing is, in order for those changes to happen, then we have to be like, we have to be hit by a 4x4 or a 2x2, right? It is like being hit hard, so that we will like, like wake up, or like our attention will really be in like, okay, what's happening, what is wrong with this, or why is this happening. So it's like we are being called, we are being um it's like in the classroom, right? Like your teacher is going to call you out of the blue and then you're not ready for it. So it's something like that. So God, universe is going to is calling out on us that whatever you're doing, this is not what it is, you will have to change. And so we are given these experiences that really test us and challenge us, so that these changes will happen in our life. And these are phases. And I really finally realized that all these things are not something wrong, not something bad, but it's very important. Because if these challenges will not come into our life, then just imagine, we will continue to act, think, and feel in the way that we have created ourselves, based on what we have learned, or based on the whatever we have seen, what we have heard, what we have experienced during our childhood, and then we create that certain belief system, right? Or patterns of thinking, doing, and feeling. And for most part, whatever we have created in the first 7 years, which is the formative years of our life, most of the time they are not of the highest level of truth, and not of the highest, like the highest expression of ourselves. And that's the reason why we go through different phases in life, so that the change can happen, right? So that's why we always say that, and we know that the only thing that is constant in this world is change. But then it's very hard, because that is what we saw, what we learned, that change is very hard, and why there is change, and why do we need to experience all this difficulty and challenges, and these are bad and these are wrong. And so this was what was taught, or subconsciously what we absorbed and learned, that any change is bad. most especially when the change is very uncomfortable. Oh my God. So we just don't like it. All of us, including me, I had my own journey, right, to experience all of this. And so then later on, I fully realized that, okay, these challenges, these phases in life are very, very important because this is really how we grow. So, like, our body is growing, right, from childhood to when we were a kid and then a young adult and then we fully mature. But then the question is, the emotional, mental, and spiritual levels of ourselves, is it also growing? And one way, or I think that is how God or the universe creates this growth, in this bigger part of ourselves, is we go through all these changes. And I've seen it that the bigger the challenge, the bigger the pain, that means the bigger the change, the bigger the internal growth or expansion or understanding that you're going to gather. If you can, how do you call it? If you can cross, you know, and survive. But then I always feel that we always do. Might be it's different for each and every one of us. Some will be able to handle it much easier. Some will handle it a bit more difficult. But the good news is all of us is going to get there. That is the promise. That is what I have seen each and every time. So in my other video also about change, that is what I said, that even if we know that we really need to change, but then still we are not able to change ourselves, is because we still need more experience on that particular thing that we want to learn. And so for me, really, I have fully realized that there is really no good, no bad, no wrong. All of us will go through it in our own way, in our own time, but we are going to get there. That is the good, like that is the best thing about change. Okay, so I think really the first step when you are going to face a change, whether it is something, how do you call it, minor to the major changes in life, the first thing that you can remember, if you will find this video, that means you're ready for this, is that, okay, I don't understand this. Like, acknowledge what is there. Like, when it comes, so it's either you say, okay, Lord, what is happening? I'm overwhelmed. I'm angry. I'm afraid. Like, voice out or express what is the emotion that, that very difficult or challenging situation, is bringing out from you. Because that is really a very good starting point, acknowledging it and just giving it a space that, yeah, something is there, but I just don't know what's happening. I'm overwhelmed. I'm afraid. And after you really name that, right? At least it's something now that you can see. And then the next step is really to, like, for me, this is really what I did, like, to really ask for help. Because yes, we have, we have the capacity. We have everything that we need is within us. But with that, there is a bigger power, right? That really created us and, brought all of these things into existence, including us. And so we lean into that power, right? We lean back and we try to surrender into that power that, God, universe, I really don't understand what is happening, but now you really have to help me. And, just really ask for guidance. That is really the first step. Ask for guidance. So I always teach this, that when we are facing any challenge, any difficult situation, any pain, any failures, mistakes. It's really just, like the mind, our mind is in darkness, just like a room when it is in darkness. And if you try to enter that room, then you will not be able to see, right? So then what is the first step that you're going to do in order to see what is in the room, right? Is to switch on the light. So our act of saying that, God, universe, you have to help me, you have to guide me, or please help me, please guide me. Like for me, it was not even a request. It was really a command or something. That, God, you have to help me. You have to take me out from this darkness, right? So it's a cry for help, but it's also a cry of surrender. If you are going to express that, of course, immediately the universe, God, whoever, like, that power that created us has to respond to that, right? So it's like, you ask and then you receive, right? That is what is written. Seek and you shall find, knock and the door will open, right? So the moment you ask, then there will be a flood of light. So it's like the room will be flooded with light, and then you'll be able to see. You'll be able to pass, so that you'll not fall properly, right? You'll be able to walk in the room. And the same way with our mind, when we ask for guidance, then it will be flooded with light. And then we'll be able to say, okay, I think this is what I can do. So you'll be able to walk. And how do you call that? As you are going through the challenging situation, which is trying to bring about uh, how do you call that? A big change, a transformation, and it's a call for transformation in your life, because you're ready for that transformation. You're ready for something bigger about yourself that you have not fully expressed. And so in order to, it's like the flower, right? One petal at a time, it will open up. So when this challenging situations, difficult situations happen to us, because one petal is now ready to bloom, to open up. But in order for that to open, we have to release an old pattern, an old way of thinking, an old way of understanding about ourselves, which is not anymore serving us, or which is really not of the highest truth about ourselves, right? It might be just it's a belief system, or a thought pattern which we created just because of what we saw, or what the people around us has told about us, but that is not really the highest level of truth about us. And so that part has to be broken. It has to be transformed. And that's why the challenging situation comes into our life in order for the change to happen. Yeah, so I know this is not something, it's not something easy. All of us is going to go through it. All of us are going to face it. But I'll tell you, it's really something beautiful. If you just surrender to the process, something beautiful is going to open up from within you. And it has happened to me, and that's why I know it is going to happen to you. As long as you allow and you surrender. Because the more we resist it, then the longer is the suffering that is going to happen, or the pain that is going to happen. But then again, there is no right and wrong. Everything that is we will go through in life, it is all good for us, because we needed those experiences for our own learning and understanding about ourselves. Okay, so I hope you learned something about the sharing, about what I have shared today, and I will see you next time in my other videos. Bye for now.